Souter, and welcome to Stories of Amazing Grace. We're coming to you from Untitled Chapter, right here in Nashville, Tennessee. If you are in the Madison, Tennessee area, Metro Nashville, come visit us on the first Wednesday of the month and be a part of the live audience at Stories of Amazing Grace. Well, our theme scripture comes from Romans 8:38 through 39. I am sure that nothing can separate us from God's love, not life or death, not angels or spirits, not the present or the future, and not powers above or powers below. Nothing in all creation can separate us from God's love for us in Christ Jesus our Lord. Tonight's guest, accompanied by her husband, Nathan Baker, is Shirley Baker. Shirley is totally blind, and Nathan has a very, very limited vision. Shirley says, when you are blind, you must have extra faith in God since you don't know who or what is around you. She wants people to know what it was like to grow up visually impaired. 30 years ago, I visited the Bakers and filmed how they cope with blindness and limited sight. And about a week ago, I paid another visit to their home. Here's a video of both of those visits.
The time is 7:47 p.m.
A talking clock tells the time.
Hallelujah, thine the glory, revive us again.
A series of bumps identifies a record album.
You're allowing all of your relationships to hinge upon the person that you dislike to begin with.
That's pretty good.
And a pair of binoculars are used to watch TV. This is the world of Nathan and Shirley Baker. Nathan is legally blind. Shirley is totally blind. Some might say they're handicapped, but they're really handy-capable.
I'm putting water in this pan, and I'm going to put it on the stove. And I'm going to turn it on. And I have a clock here that talks, and I'm going to set it.
4 minutes to go.
Two things that are, of course, a problem for blind people is that sometimes you can't tell when the food is done. And the other thing, of course, is fear of fire, in that you could always, with a burner or with hot grease, you could always, burn your house down or something that would, cause real problems. But other than that, you can cook the same way as everybody else.
Though the expression hard-boiled eggs is familiar to us all.
Through the use of a special machine, Shirley is able to read printed material letter by letter through vibrations in her fingertips.
As far as being blind, of course, there are some things that you do a little differently. We never cross the 6 lanes of Gallatin Road traffic without the stoplight. For real obvious reasons. That's why we're here today and not killed out in the middle of the street somewhere. Additionally, of course, there are, I think if you look at the benefits that you have, for example, our electric bill isn't as high as people who can see. We don't have to turn the lights on as much. We definitely don't make car payments, and, we don't buy gasoline at gas stations. So there are benefits to almost anything that you have.
Well, this is the book of Psalms. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. It's having faith, knowing that I won't always have to be this way. I may have to be this way the rest of my life here on the earth, but I know that I'm going to see someday, and that helps me a whole lot.
I guess my best quote is that we do really walk by faith and not by sight. We don't know what tomorrow holds. I built the furniture in the living room here, and I didn't write how to put it together, but when I took it out of the box, there was a blueprint there, and I had to know that whoever wrote the blueprint knew a lot more about it than I did. I had to do the work, and I still have to get up and go to work of a morning, but and still have to pay taxes and do all the ordinary things. But it's nice to know that someone else wrote the blueprint, and if I follow it, I can actually put life together pretty well.
Nathan and Shirley have been married since 1980.
So what this is, it's a slate. I'm going to write your name here. So that's L A And then I will turn it, I will turn it over, and it will allow me to read your name there. And here it is. This is the capital letter, and that's L-A-R-R-Y. If you want to identify medicine, you can do that by placing this on the circle. The pharmacist would be trained to put the label on the bottom of the bottle.
Patient, John J. Smith. Medication, amoxicillin, 250 milligram capsule.
And I just wanted to show you, these are, a lot of people say, well, how can a blind person cook? Well, so these are measuring cups, and they have braille on it. So like this one says 1/8. I think they have the print on it too. Maybe you can tell me if it does, but there's the 1/8, and there's the 1/3, and it goes on to all the way to 2 cups. Oh yeah, this is good. Some people say, well, how do you know what money you have? So what you do, and sometimes I get an error message because I don't always get it exactly right the first time. 10. It says 10.
That's only $1. You give it to me.
Sorry. Open be my eyes.
Analyzing picture. Please wait. A bald man with glasses is wearing a maroon shirt with a pocket on the left side. He is indoors, standing in a kitchen area with wooden cabinets in the background. There is a microwave and some other kitchen items visible behind him. The lighting is bright, and there is a ceiling fan and a window with blinds in the adjacent room.
Very good. Very good. Of course, that's totally wrong.
Okay.
It didn't sound the most handsome person on the planet.
She said that should have. Well, this is the Bible. It's the whole New and Old Testament.
Go out to the hills and bring branches of olive, wild olive, myrtle, palm, and other leafy trees to make booths, as it is written.
And then this is a talking toaster oven. It's similar, except you can do different things with it. You can do
Toast.
bake, broil.
Timer.
Heat.
This is heat.
Auxiliary.
I don't know what that auxiliary means.
Auto.
Auto.
Off.
Tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born, while shepherds kept their watching o'er silent flocks by night. Behold, throughout the heavens there shone the holy light chorus.
It is called a braille note taker. So then I would take the songs that she sent, I would copy to the clipboard on my computer.
Songs of Madison, folder 5-8.
So this is Songs of Madison right here.
Welcome.
It says welcome.
To same God.
And Same God, that's the song we've been singing for at least 100 years now.
Communion to prayer.
So like right now I'm at 16 times the original size. But I can make it talk, I can change the color. This is a closed circuit television, so you can read material. What I tell people is, like if you're gonna write a check, you never look at the checkbook.
Just make it up for 1,000 to Larry out every time.
Yeah, so you watch your hand when you write the check. Yeah.
What is your vision?
I have 2%. Officially, I have 20 over 800, so I can see at 20 feet what you see at 800. But when you do the letters on the wall, I can't see the wall. It made girl watching hard in life because you had to get sort of close.
Please make welcome Nathan and Shirley Baker. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
It was 1995. I came to your house. It was on this property. You recall that, of course?
Yep.
And I still call it the Baker House. I don't know what you call it anymore. Former house, I guess. But to me, it's still the Baker House. You gave me 14 pages. It's probably more than that. And I bumped it up to 14 type font of notes about your life.
Oh, yeah,
We're not going to get to all these, but I'm going to refer to some of these once in a while. Okay. And I may have to hurry you along a little bit because we've got so much material here to cover. So I'll try to be politely rude as I do that.
Okay, sure.
But why is it important for you to tell your story?
Well, I have faith stories and things that happened to me in my life. And I prayed to God. I prayed to God every single day from the time I get up to almost time to go to bed. And I just pray that He will help me get through the day and that I will just trust and believe in Him that He will take care of me.
It takes a lot of faith because
it does.
You're totally blind. And as you say, you depend on the faith to get you through because you can't see what's around you.
That's right.
What is the most important thing you want to share?
Oh my goodness, that's hard to say because there's a whole lot, but I have one particular faith story that happened, and would you like for me to talk about that now? Or,
well,
what would you like for me to do first?
Let's hold off on that a minute.
Oh, okay.
Because I've got 4 faith stories here for you to share.
Okay.
So let me talk about your family background a minute. You're half Japanese?
I am.
Tell me about that.
My dad was in the military, and so he had to go to Japan at the end of World War II. And while he was there, he met my mother, and she was born and raised there. And so he brought her back to Tennessee. Well, I was born in Ohio. Then after that, I think they came to Tennessee, and they lived on the Milky Way farm for a while, and then they moved to Linville. And then
you were born in Dayton, Ohio?
I was born in Dayton, Ohio, yes.
Dayton, Ohio. Okay, tell me about your blindness. You were born with sight. Is that correct?
I was, that's correct. But I was premature, and they put me in an incubator, and they gave me too much oxygen, and they zapped it, just took it all out.
And that caused the blindness?
That caused the blindness.
Now, Nathan, you have kind of a similar story there, right? Tell me about that.
I was born in California, and my parents were divorced. I was a foster care child in California, and then moved to Indiana, went to the School for the Blind for 10 years, and then transferred to my local public high school. I got in trouble with the School for the Blind because I was talking about being a Christian. And my mother was afraid they were going to kick me out. So we went to the local public school the last 2 years and came to Trevecca, and I loved Nashville. It had less snow. That was a big issue. It was $1,000 a year cheaper than Olivet in Illinois in the 70s. Of course, it had all the things Nashville has: country music, fried chicken, or country, Southern fried food. And being male freshman, it had Southern women.
But you were denied oxygen at your birth as well?
Yes.
Okay, a similar situation.
I didn't see till I was about 2.5.
Okay. Well, back to Shirley. At age 6, you came to Tennessee School for the Blind.
I did.
By yourself?
Well, yes, my parents brought me. So,
oh, well,
right. Yeah, well, just want to make that clear.
Right. But you only saw them holidays or every so often throughout the years that you were there?
Just on the holidays.
Okay.
Yes.
Was that a good experience at the Tennessee School for the Blind or not?
Not the first, third, and fifth grades. I don't know what it was, but it seemed like some of our teachers liked to hit us, and I had my house parent slap me in the face one time because I could not make the bed the way she wanted it.
Really?
And in the first grade, you had to learn to read Braille, and I couldn't understand it. I don't think she was teaching it too good, but I don't know. But anyway, she slapped my hand like this because I didn't do it right, and a couple of times she shook me, and I didn't know to tell my parents about it. I just figured that was supposed to be normal, so
right.
I didn't know the difference.
Now, you're using your hands, your fingers right now. You're reading notes, aren't you?
I am.
Usually I don't have people bring their notes up here. But I didn't know what you were doing there. I thought you were just nervous.
Oh, no, I'm not nervous.
But those are your notes.
These are my notes. I've got 4 pages.
Yeah.
I didn't want to leave anything out.
To me, it's just a series of bumps, but like, is it by words or letters that you can detect what you're feeling?
I've written, like here I wrote, let's see, I wrote attending school, which you covered. Well, sort of you covered it. Because I wanted to tell you a little bit more about it.
All right,
school.
go ahead.
Okay, so when I got to the 7th grade, I started taking typing, and I really enjoyed it, and I thought, this is what I want to do for my life's work. So then I took it in 10th grade, and then 11th and 12th grade, I took what was called office occupations. And you would learn how to make and receive calls, and of course type and file. Ooh, I hated that filing. Well, anyway, after that, I worked half days with another lady in the office, and we would go to the Cordell Hull building, and we worked in the office with a lady that was blind. She was a secretary, and she kept her office. I mean, you know, she I can't remember her boss's name, but she did what he told her to do, what she was told to do, and she was good. Only thing I didn't like about it though was like if you made a mistake, she would make you take that out and start it on a new page. Put that paper in there and start all over again. But I was pretty good at typing because I went later on to Little Rock.
Now wait, we'll go back to
you don't
the
want me to go
typing.
there?
Go back to the typing a minute.
Oh.
When you're typing, are you typing letters that I can see, or are you typing Braille?
Oh yeah, no. I'm typing things you can see, like words and all that.
Now, how do you make corrections with that?
Well, we had the teacher would come over and either put white out, or we would use correction tape.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how to describe that to you, but you would put it behind the ribbon, and you would just pretty much know where your mistake was.
In your notes, you said something about one of the things you didn't like, or maybe they didn't like, were the smudges.
Oh, this was when I went to work for them. I went to work for the School for the Blind for 3 months on OJT, on the job training.
Yeah, I mean the smudges in the paper when you corrected.
Yes, it was carbon.
Okay.
You know, back then, you couldn't just make copies with a copy machine or use a computer. This was back in the
olden days.
What was that?
Olden days.
70, no, it wasn't that old. It was in the 70s. It was back in 74, January through March of 74. And so they wanted you to do requisition forms when you would type for people that wanted to borrow stuff from one classroom to the next. And then the first day on the job, though, at that school, this is when they told me that I would have to make carbon copies of everything and fill out requisition forms. Well, I didn't know anything about filling out a requisition form, so my office occupations teacher that I had, I called him and I said, I need help. I don't know how to do this. So he came over and he took one of the forms, took it to his office, counted the lines that I would have to come down and how many spaces I would have to do, and brought it back, and I had written all that in Braille, so I know how to do it. And I don't know, it was a hard job. I worked for 3 mobility instructors, a preschool counselor, and a guidance counselor. And the preschool counselor was the one that had the most work for me.
Was it tough to learn Braille?
Oh, yes, it was. But see, by the time I had to repeat first grade because I just didn't understand what was going on, it seemed like, in the world in the first year.
Nathan, do you read Braille as well?
No. I write enough Braille to stay happily married, like for Valentine cards and Christmas cards. And,
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, where do you want me to go next now?
Let's talk about some of these stories of faith.
Okay.
One, I got 4 here. Maybe these are not the same stories that you identify with.
Okay.
The School for the Blind in Arkansas. That was a
Yes.
a story of faith.
All right. Well, close to the end of February, I was called into a meeting at the school and was told that my services would no longer be needed, and that was okay because I didn't really want to stay too much anyway. But part of me did because I didn't know where I was going to be next. I was told that I'd have to go back to my home, and I knew that wasn't going to work because I didn't want to just sit around and do nothing, you know. So I was also told that there was a large hole near the school. I had to cross Donaldson Wood and I think Stewart's Ferry both. I'm not sure, but anyway, they didn't tell me exactly where it was. They just said it was there. Okay, and I would ride MTA to and from the school. Mm-hmm. Two of those, let me go back if that's okay. Before all that happened, I got stranded one day because I missed my bus, and so I just stood there because there was no phones. I mean, there was no cell phones or anything. Mm-hmm. And I was praying to God, oh, dear God, please help me. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how to get back to the school right now to call because there was no, the offices were closed. So anyway, I guess I stood there for a couple hours, and I thought, I guess I better cross the street on to the other side where there's no bus, and maybe somebody will come over and pick me up, and they did. And I said, thank you, Jesus. I was so happy that he answered my prayer.
You stood there for 2 hours?
About 2 hours.
Wow.
And then another time they dropped me off at the wrong place. The MTA bus did. It was, I was living on Blair at that time, and they dropped me off at what was the name of that college? Belmont College. It's university now, but Belmont College. So I again stood and waited for a little bit, and this lady was real nice, and she asked me where I needed to go, and I said I need to go to Blair Boulevard, and so she took me there. Another prayer answered. Mm-hmm. But the thing back to the school, though, so it was raining on this particular Friday morning in March of '74, and I was trying to get to the school, and there was these pieces of wood. I think they call those sawhorses. Is that right? I don't know, that they put around construction. Mm-hmm. Well, I found those, but then I couldn't figure out how to get across the street because of that, and then I felt my cane hit this thing. I guess it was the whole part of the hole, and I didn't know what it was until it was too late. And next thing I knew, I fell in it. And so I asked somebody there. I said, somebody said, "Did you see that blind girl fall in that hole?" Oh man, y'all know I was so embarrassed about that. And so, so anyway. He said, well, we'll just pull you out with a rope. And I said, I'm not sure if that's going to work. So they tried it, and it didn't. So they called the fire department and brought a ladder. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, okay, I can climb this up. So I did. I climbed it all the way to the top, and that was a long ladder, let me tell you. So I said, how deep do you think this hole was? And he says, probably about 20 feet. And I said, oh, that was a long way to go. I mean, I kept feeling like I was falling all that day, and I had heartburn. And so one of my friends from a previous place where I was trained at Mason Brandon, somebody called her, and she came and took me to her home. So I didn't know what I was going to do from then. And so I asked her, I said, why do you think this all happened? And she quoted Romans 8:20. Let's see, where's it? All things work together.
Good to those that
yeah,
love the Lord.
Yeah, I have it written here, so I wouldn't mess it up.
You may find it for you. I can touch
no.
it. I can touch those bumps.
So anyway, so she talked to the central office of services for the blind, and they decided that I could come and do OJT for them for 3 months. So that was another prayer answered because I just didn't know what was going to happen. And after that, they sent me back to Mason Brandon, and I thought, this is just too much. I don't want to keep doing this. So I got some of my friends to, somebody said, you could get a job with the state. You'll have to take a civil service test, but you could do that. So my friend took me to take a couple of those tests, and I passed. And so I went on job interviews, and none of them came up, positive. It wasn't positive. So I kept praying that, Lord, just send me for a job interview that'll work, that I'll get a job. So one day at Cordell Hall, my friend and I were fixing to leave the building. They said, come up to the 5th floor. They want to talk to you about typing. And I said, okay. So I went to the office, and they said, we want to see you type. Can you really type? And I said, oh, yes, I can type. I could type 80 words a minute with 3 errors. All right, so I sat there and typed, and they loved it, and they said, come back on the 10th of September. Now, this was still in 74. And I did, and I went to personnel, and they said, you're hired, but it's a 120-day appointment. And I said, okay. So at the end of that, they said, you need to go back and take 2 more civil service tests, and you need to make at least 80 on one or both of those. And so I prayed to God that please help me make a good passing grade of 80 on these tests. And guess what, you all? I made 80 on both of those tests.
Very good.
So I was permanently hired. Do you want to know what I did on the job, or you want to pass that on by?
I think he has some other questions for you.
Okay. Well.
How did you meet Nathan?
Oh, my goodness. Do you really have time for that?
You want me to?
No, that's okay. I'll tell it because you won't get it right.
Let me hear a little bit of Nathan on this, too.
Well, he can get on there, but I want to tell the first part of it anyway.
Okay, go ahead.
Because this is good. Okay, so back in 74, I started coming to Madison Church of Christ, and of course met Jerry Sherrill and Nyla and David Koontz, and I met
Buck Dozier.
and Buck Dozier and all those people, and Ray Walker especially in Maryland, because Ray helped me at the end of this all. So back in 79, probably around I don't know, September, I went to Little Rock to visit some friends. And I met this man. His name was Reby. I won't tell you the last name, but anyway, his name was Reby. And we talked about him coming to Nashville. He said he had to go to St. Louis to probably work or get some training. I don't know. But anyway, he wanted me to think about coming with him. And I just was not sure about that. So that was something else I had to pray about. But anyway, I was also going to go to MTSU to take the Opticon training, which was that machine, that you showed where I read the print Bible.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm losing my thought. Hang on just a minute.
Nathan somewhere. Nathan come in here somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, come on, I'm getting there. Okay, so let's see.
Okay.
You're going to run out of time, though.
So anyway.
Go through all your boyfriends first,
Well,
then get to Nathan.
No. So, okay, so Ray and Marilyn took me home on a Wednesday night, and I told Ray that I was going to go to school to train for this machine, with this machine. And then I said, Ray, there's a man that I met in Little Rock, and he wants me to go to St. Louis, and I just don't know if I want to do that. And he said, well, if you really love him, you'll leave your job. I said, I don't know. So anyway, he said, come to spend the weekend with me, and we'll bring Reby, and he can stay too. So we went to the airport and got him, and so we spent the weekend. He said, now you'll know at the end of the weekend whether you want to go to St. Louis or not. And he was right. I just did not want to go. It just wasn't going to work, and I'm not going to tell you why.
He wasn't the one.
He was not the one. Okay, so, but during the time that when I went to MTSU to take my course, one day at 7 in the morning, Mr. Baker called me, and I was told by my rehab counselor that there's a young man that wants to get married, and he wants to get married fast. I said, no, that's not me. I don't want to do that, really. I don't know. So anyway, he took me to Red Cross one day to meet Nathan, and also when we were on the phone, though, Nathan asked me for a date, and I said, no, I don't date people I don't know, really. And so he took me to the Red Cross, and Nathan said, well, if your situation ever changes, let me know, because he had asked me for another date. He asked me again, and I refused him again. Because I said, Reby is coming to Nashville, and Ray's taking us to, he's getting somebody to take us to Opryland theme park. Well, so that happened, and then one Thursday, I called Nathan. Now, this is the part that I'm thinking I shouldn't have done, but it worked out anyway. So I called him and I said, Nathan, what are you doing this evening? Because I was supposed to go to a concert and I really didn't want to go. So he said, well, I'm working. I said, well, could you get out of it? And I said, he said, well, maybe. I said, well, let's go somewhere if that's okay. So we did. We went to Ireland's, and then that was on November 1st of 74. Then
79.
I mean, yeah, 79, sorry. I'm getting all these dates mixed up. Okay, so then a month later, on December the 12th, Nathan came to Cordell Hall after work, and he was flashing this picture of this engagement ring, and of course I didn't know what he was doing. And so we started walking. He thought that I thought we were going to the bus stop, but I could tell that we were not going to the bus stop. I didn't know where we were going, and it was raining. Let me tell you all, it was awful. So we start walking around. It seemed like 100 times around the Capitol building. I didn't know what it was at the time, but finally he said, we're standing, and we were on the east side of the Capitol, and we walked, he said, 1 1/4 times before, so he could decide which part of the Capitol he wanted to propose to me.
You got to get it right the first time.
Yeah, and I was not happy because I was getting wet. So he said, at the place that we are standing, it's at least 150 years old, and I will love you for at least that long. Will you marry me? And I said, yes, I will. Let's go. It's raining out here. I said, well, he got what he wanted. So.
You were married in Bixter Chapel.
Yes, we were the old Bixter Chapel.
The old Bixter Chapel.
Yes, we were.
And they had some problems there. The air conditioning problem?
Air conditioner went out, and Trish Boone had made the cake, Nick Boone's wife, and I heard the icing was melting, so they had to keep moving it around. And so and we had a nice wedding, though. But let me tell you one story about that little thing. So Nathan told me before he would hum to me when we wanted to kiss, because he said I wouldn't be able to see him. So he says, I'm going to do that at the wedding. I said, no, you're not. And they said, yes, I am. Well, y'all know what? He did it at the wedding. I thought I was going to die laughing. I was just like, oh, my goodness.
And everybody started laughing.
Oh,
but
yes.
They're laughing because they don't know why they're laughing. But I hummed, and Shirley is now laughing, and the audience is
not
just,
real hard though,
yeah,
just a little bit.
But they're not sure what happened, but it was obviously something funny. So it was a hoot. Because Ray Walker said, "Always remember where you are when you hum." So
he said, "Don't forget where you are when I'm leading singing."
Yeah,
because I told him that Nathan hummed to me when we wanted to be kissed. He said, "Well, please don't forget where you are whenever I'm leading singing."
Now, there's something about a pool that flooded.
Oh, yeah, this was at the Chattanooga. Nathan just loves trains, so you want to tell this story?
We got to Chattanooga. Well, we went to the Doubletree, which was the first season it was open downtown.
It was
and 9th floor, and the air conditioning went out.
Wow.
This is in June.
Hottest day.
So we get on the bus and we go to Chattanooga. We are in a rail car. Your room's 45 by 12 feet. It's wonderful. You don't go up the steps and all that. And the pool flooded the switchboard. So all the room service for the rail cars, you had to go out and get food.
on your honeymoon versus having them deliver food. So it was a hoot. So it was a disaster in Nashville and a disaster in Chattanooga.
Wow.
But we had a great time, though.
You had a great time.
Yes, we did.
I'm going to show some pictures. I know you can't see them, so I'm going to describe it a little bit, then you can tell me what we got here. The first one is Shirley and Nathan. It looks like Nathan's in a blue suit.
Oh yeah.
And you're in a blue dress with a red boutonnieres.
That was the Valentine's Day banquet at Trevecca in 1980. And of course, I already graduated, so you don't really get to go. But I convinced the senior class that we would come as a guest to their Valentine banquet, and they announced our engagement.
The next one here is another young couple, the same couple. And you kind of have a white beige coat on, Shirley, and he's in a suit and tie. Both got their heads together, and you look fairly happy at that time, I assume.
I don't know the picture. I
understand.
Sure.
And we got a next picture is a bride getting ready.
Oh yeah.
I assume this is your mother helping you
she was.
get ready.
She was.
And if I remember that window, that looks like the old Bixter Chapel window.
It is.
In the restroom, maybe.
Yeah. And Jim Mankin performed the wedding, and
did he?
Yes. Oh, that was so great. And he didn't charge us for it. He gave us the money that he would have charged to go to Chattanooga.
So you got a freebie.
Yeah. Pretty much for the ride, anyway.
The next one here is the bridal party. It looks like your father on the left, Shirley.
Yes.
And your mother, and then you, and then Nathan standing tall.
Yes.
And I assume that's your sister?
Yes, and my brother.
And brother, tall guy is your brother.
Yes.
And you are middle child, what?
I was the middle of three.
Middle of the three.
Yes.
What's your name of your brother and sister? What are their names?
Eddie and Nina.
Okay.
But my brother is deceased.
I see.
Yes.
I see, sorry. Next picture here is you receiving a plaque.
Oh, yes.
You know, what was this all about?
When I worked for the Department of Employment Security, they had an organization in there called IAPES, which stood for International Association of Employees in Employment Security. So they decided, a couple of people decided to write me up, do an article or something to receive a prize, which was a $25 certificate. The $25 in money and then a certificate. And so I got it on the local level, the first place, and then they tried to see if I could get it on the state level. And so I got second place on the state level.
Very impressive.
Yes.
Next one here is you and Nathan in some type of costume.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Yes, I was supposed to be Scarlet.
Oh, this is at Chattanooga Choo-Choo, and you can dress up as Southern aristocrats.
Yes.
I was supposed to be like a Southern belle.
And you look the part.
Thank you.
And one more here, your 35th wedding anniversary picture.
Oh, yes, that was it. That was
very nice.
We were younger then.
Not much younger, yes. We've been married 44 years.
I want to take some questions in a minute, but I want to ask you a couple questions. This is from a dumb-sighted person. Me. Do you dream?
Oh, yes, I do.
Do you dream?
Oh, yes, I do. Sometimes I dream.
Do you visually see dreams?
I have dreamed that I could see because somebody would be chasing me and try to be running away from those people. I don't know who it was or what it was, but yes, and that's all I can tell you about that part of it.
How do you visualize color? When I said these chairs you're sitting in are red, how do you visualize?
Well, I brought my color reader. Do you want me to get that out?
Tell me before you bring that out. How do you visualize color? Or do you?
Well, I think about flowers and the sky. The sky when it's sunshine it's blue.
Okay.
When it's cloudy, it's gray. Sometimes, I guess. And then fruits, and what color like strawberries are, and what color certain vegetables are, and That's how I do it. And
Nathan, you can see some color,
Yes,
so you have a little better grasp on that than what Shirley does.
right. Yeah, I dream in color. I have a vivid imagination too, so it's hard to tell whether I'm asleep or awake, because, sometimes you're, looking out the window of a van thinking, that sure is an ugly looking car over there trying to run over this man.
Bring out your color
okay,
identifier.
okay. I brought my money one too.
Now aim that at your
At my dress.
your jacket, your sweater
Oh, my
there.
jacket. Well, let's see.
Yeah.
It says here.
Green, blue,
It says green, blue. Okay.
That's
Now
pretty
this
good.
is
dark blue, dark blue,
this is dark blue. What is that right?
Well, you got combination colors in your dress.
Yeah.
blue, turquoise.
Try it on the chair,
Huh?
on the
Try to-
arm of the chair.
On the arm of the chair. Oh, wait. This right here. Right here.
Right here, yeah, right.
Where?
Anywhere where you.
Oh, right here.
There.
Dark red, brown.
I like my phone app better. That Be My Eyes. I think
Yes,
I like
yes,
that better.
of
But I
course
forgot my phone, so.
Of course, it's wrong. I told you that. Now you got a Braille slate. Did you bring that? Were you?
No, because I thought.
Tell us what Martell and others help you. I think, but Martell helps you with the songs on Sunday morning.
Let me just get this out. Okay.
She provides you with the songs that are coming
She
up
does.
for worship on Sunday.
She tries to give them to me, and she does really good.
Okay, what happens? What happens? She gives you, she sends you the song, the words,
She sends
right?
me the song, and it's in Word format, the DOCX file. And once I get those, I put them on. I used to put them on a flash drive. Like, let me show you what I used to put them on. Let's see. I used to do it. Whoops. With one of these little drives. You can put, we put books and all kinds of things on these drives, and I put documents on them too.
But you transfer that to this machine.
I can transfer it to this machine by hooking a cable to the machine and then to the typewriter, to the computer.
And then how do you sing on Sunday morning?
Well, once she gives me this, I'm trying to open it. Okay, let's see. Once she gives it to me and I've transferred it to the machine, then I go to open this file manager. I put it on a compact flash card, and I have put folders on this card, and I put church on it, and then I put worship services. Okay, I opened up worship services. I got all kinds of things in here, but let me see if I can pick up. What was last? Okay, was the March 16th songs. I believe that was that last Sunday, 2 Sundays ago. Well, whatever. Okay.
It takes her about a couple hours to do this every Saturday.
No, it doesn't
night.
take that long. Not as long as it used to at City Road. Okay, so this says March 16th songs. Oh, there's nothing there.
So you sing by feeling the bumps.
Oh, well, they're dots.
The dots.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mother used to call them bumps. They used to irritate me because she used to call them bumps. Okay, the first song is Same God. We sing this at least. So it says, I'm calling on the God of Jacob, whose love endures through generations. I know that you will keep your covenant. And then it says, I'm calling on the God of Moses,
The words to that
the
song.
one who opened up the ocean. So that's the words to that
Wow,
song.
that's hard. That's
You can't read that, Larry?
no. You have some questions?
I'm real curious how she fixes her hair every day. It looks nice tonight. Did you do it yourself?
My makeup, you mean?
Your hair. How do you fix your hair?
Well, Martell helped me with that today, but I usually, she told me some things I could do to it, so I followed her instructions.
All right. What advice would you give to a sighted person in dealing with blind people?
Well, I've been thinking about this for a while, and I was thinking that should you go blind, don't give up, because there's people that can help you. There's a place in Smyrna called Tennessee Rehabilitation Center, and they deal with all kinds of people who are disabled. young and older. And you can always get help. Let me just put it that
But
way.
I shouldn't lead you. You should hold on to me. Is that correct?
You're leading me when I hold on to you.
So I should not grab your arm.
You should not grab my arm because it looks like that, well, it puts me in front of you, so that it looks like that I'm leading you, and that's not the proper way to do that.
Right.
Yeah, so it's always better. First of all, it's easier to ask people. You know, I was getting ready to cross Gallatin Road one time, and this person grabbed me by the arm and crossed me across Gallatin Road. I didn't want to cross the street. I was waiting for the bus. So you can always ask, can I assist you? And let the blind person take your arm. And the thing I tell people, and drives me absolutely crazy, is don't say over there. Close your eyes, and where is over there? You know, left, right, forward, backward, 5 steps to your right. Be descriptive, but medical people are the worst in doctors' offices. Like, we're going over to this office. Like,
I want to add one more thing. I want you all to visualize this is how it is to be blind. So sometime maybe when you're at your home, close your eyes for about 3 or 4 minutes, and then I want you to see if you can hear what the Holy Spirit is telling you. And then, because you all sighted people, they use their eyes more than they hear. They don't use their ears very much. They're paying attention with their eyes. So that's what I want you to do. Then I want you to think about, if you have an iPhone, which I do, I turn voice on. I want you to see if you can do things with your phone with your eyes closed. Could you take a picture with your camera on your phone? Could you go to your icon and tap on it? I know you all tap. I double tap on mine because that's how Apple designed it. Could you do that? Ladies, can you put your makeup on with your eyes closed? Could you do that? See, I can do that. I can do all of it.
at our school for the blind in Indiana, we had a guy when we were 12 years old. You know how boys like to start to shave. And we convinced this totally blind kid that his razor wouldn't work unless he was in front of the sink. In front of the mirror. And I couldn't see the mirror, but we convinced this kid. It's because the water's there. The sink is there. He was mad. And the other rule is you never move the furniture. We put a couch across the door and watched the blind kids flip over it. It was wonderful.
That was awful.
It was terrible. So in our house, we never moved the furniture.
I keep forgetting to push my chair in, so I almost fall over mine.
Do we have one other question? I thought somebody was...
Yes. Nathan, I know that you called Shirley, but I'm still a little fuzzy on how you all exactly first met.
That was it.
Oh, well, I called her, and she didn't want to go out. I called her at 7 in the morning at this motel in Murfreesboro. Yeah. So, I talked to her. So finally, in standing in the parking lot in the heat, I told her those famous male words, if your situation ever changes, call me. The open salesmanship.
And I did. I asked him for the first date.
And she did. She asked me for the first date.
Yes.
But we talked on the phone, and the first, we had a date where she asked me out, and then a couple days later, I had a friend pick her up, and we came over to Murfreesboro Road where I lived, and we came, my friend wasn't going to take us back to Madison. So we took a cab from Murfreesboro Road to Madison. It was $34 round trip because I had to go back, and she offered to pay for some of that.
I paid all of it.
Another question over here.
Do you have extraordinary senses that make up for the fact that you can't see?
That's something I want to talk about.
How about your hearing? Is your hearing...
I want to talk about that. Yes, please. So people think that just because you lose your vision that you can hear better, but that's not really true. You just learn to listen, and that's what I was talking about, that you need to learn to listen. And the thing is, sometimes you think that we can't hear what you say when you're leaving a room. Y'all need to be careful about what you're saying because we can hear you when you leave. So.
The sense of organization. I mean, I live in my house constantly looking for my phone, my glasses, my wallet, my keys. And I just wonder how it works with a person who can't see.
My house is a total mess. Man, what y'all talking about? I'm just as disorganized as the rest of you.
Oh, okay.
There's scientific data that shows that like people who are deaf can look across the room and watch you do sign language. We used to think that was a myth, but there's scientific data now that says that the vision part of your brain, if you were deaf, the hearing part of your brain doesn't need that much space. So the vision part takes over. And the same for people who are blind, that, we can hear, we just learn to hear better, But I used to think that was a myth, but scientifically they're saying that's really true. But Shirley has hearing aids because she's getting old, so it doesn't really apply. So I holler at her at home sometimes from room to room.
Yeah, we do.
Shirley, this is Martell. Will you tell them how you know your colors of your yarn? You have tons of yarn, so describe that.
I use that color identifier that I showed you, and I also do the Be My Eyes. There's an app called Be My Eyes, and I open that, and it says take picture, and so I do that. That's the app that described Larry.
I love you so much, and I am so proud of you. But if with your permission, I'd like to ask you one thing about your relationship to God. Do you ever say to yourself, why me? Why was it me that had to be this way?
I believe that it was meant for me to be blind, and I'm not sorry about it at all. There's some things that I would like to see, like pictures. I would like to be able to get around better than I do. But other than that, I'm not sorry at all, and I just would rather stay that way. If I had a choice, I would not want to see. No.
And the good thing that God has done is we're blind in a good time in history.
Oh yes.
President Bush signed the Americans with Disability Act in 1990. And I can pick up the phone and go anywhere in Nashville for $3.70. There's a paratransportation service. If you watch TV, that you can tell the TV to describe what's going on. Or if you go to the movies, there's descriptive video out there. There's communications. I worked at Red Cross for 35 years, and part of that may have been because they didn't want to get rid of me, but they eventually did. But it's a good time to have a disability, because when we go to vote, we all in America love the secret ballot, right? Mm-hmm. We had to take a Democrat and a Republican in behind the curtain when you went to vote. Mm-hmm. So it's real secretive, right? Well, the ballot machine talks. You put the headset on, it'll say 10 races, select 5 choices. Number 1, select, deselect. So it's a nice time to have a disability, because there are things out there that can help you overcome that. And there are people out there that will help you if you ask. And I think that's something that, we could have been born 200 years ago and be sitting on the edge of the street begging. And so, go ahead.
Could I add one more thing? Some people say, how do you watch TV? Well, we don't really literally watch it, but you would not go and tell somebody, well, I heard something on TV last night. You'd probably say, I saw it. People get too hung up on semantics. They do. They just get too hung up on that. If we say we saw something, we don't mean we literally did, but we see it in our own way, okay? That's how we do everything. We see everything.
Nathan and Shirley, thank you.
Thank you.
For being with us. Thank you. Well, you stole my clothes a little bit here. You stole my thunder, but I'm going to read it anyhow.
Okay.
As you say in your notes that you gave me earlier, this is a wonderful time to have been born blind. Would I want to see if I had a chance? My answer is no. I think it was in the plan for me not to see, and I haven't regretted it. Sometimes it can be inconvenient, though. If you ever face with blindness, do not give up, because blindness does not have to be the end unless you let it be. Have faith, and God will help you get through as he has for me. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing your story, and join us next month on Stories of Amazing Grace.